Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another true crime mystery with Psychic Jamie and myself. And we're going to be looking into and reading and channeling the Amityville horror. So, without any further ado, hi, Jamie.
Hi, Natalie. Thanks for having me back. I love doing these episodes with you. It's so much fun.
Same, soul sisters. Same.
Yeah.
As always, I love doing these with you. And also, I just want to mention this for people watching this as well. Some of these cases that we do, they're very heavy. They can be disturbing. The information, the messages, what we receive, who we connect to, can be a little bit disturbing, to say the least. But doing these with you, it feels safer. It feels a lot more safer when it's the two of us doing it together and connecting. And just also, it's just like, comparing notes as well, what we're getting, who we're connecting to. So I love it.
I think this is great. It's fun to connect with you. It's fun to get the messages that come in. And it's not about being right or wrong either. It's just what we're getting from spirit.
Exactly. But people get really passionate. They get really passionate. That's the thing about true crime mysteries and true crime cases in general. There are a lot of information out there, and a lot of documentaries and a lot of books and a lot of biographies and all sorts of information that's floating around. And some people get very, very, let's say, passionate about some of these cases, and they think they know everything. Okay. And I'm emphasizing the word think you know everything. For instance, when we did the Idaho murders, okay, there were some people in the chats, in the comment, not in the chat, in the comments, pretty much saying, you're wrong. You guys, we're not news reporters. We're mediums. we are not journalists who come in here with the facts. What we get is what we share. Okay.
And sometimes things, right. I didn't mean to interrupt. Sometimes things seem totally crazy. And it's like, for instance, I don't know if I should use this as an example, but I'm going to, because me and my older daughter can sense when someone's going to cross over. Okay. So I had a client that I don't know why, but she asked me if her cousin was going to pass away, and her cousin wasn't that old. And I said, yes, I feel like he is. And she called me like a week ago, and she told me he died. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like he really wasn't that old, So it's like, I guess it's like, sometimes you wonder, like, even when she was asking me, then I'm thinking, I'm not God, I don't control people's lives or whatever, but it's like, sometimes things seem so far out there. And even me, myself, I'm thinking, is this guy really going to die? He's young. It's like, how would this even be possible? But it's like, you just have to go with it. When you start questioning things and nitpicking everything, that's when there's more blockages that come in with these readings. You just have to stay open. You have an open mind and an open heart with these readings and in these messages. So that's what I feel. Yeah,
I agree, which is why we don't research. Some cases we know, some cases we know better than others. Some we don't know at all. They were suggested by you guys, and we're just doing them. So,
right. I didn't mean to interrupt. I have researched the Amityville horror, but not to like the nth degree. But if you guys are interested in learning more on the Electric Spirit podcast, which I host, I did do a segment last fall on the Amityville horror, but I'll be honest, I did it. I was channeling it and I don't really remember it. I'll be honest. Like, I don't even remember what I said on the episode.
That's channeling. I don't remember anything after I
Right.
channel.
It's
'Cause it
not
just comes
dementia, it's
through.
just channeling. Right.
Exactly.
So,
It's not
yeah.
our conscious brain or our conscious
No.
mind that's
Mhm.
bringing forth these messages. It's
Yeah.
literally spirit. So it
Mhm.
just flows through us, and which is why I don't remember readings, I don't remember channeling
Same
sessions,
with
I don't
me.
remember a lot of stuff.
Yeah. It's
Just
okay. It is what it is.
it is what it is. I just want to say that people, listen, if you don't agree with what comes through, we're just the messenger here. We're
Yeah,
just
don't
the
shoot the
messenger.
messenger.
Don't
Please,
shoot the
please
messenger.
don't shoot the messenger.
Exactly. And a lot of times, even
Yeah.
if a serial killer or someone has been convicted, has been caught and convicted, and
Mhm.
we think we know all the information or all the details because
Mhm.
they were in trial, because
Right.
of all the information that come true. No, it doesn't
Yeah.
mean that we know everything. The public has access to every single information, but as mediums, we do have access to information that is not readily available or public.
Mhm.
So don't shoot the messenger, people. All right. Go with the flow, enjoy the reading, take it as you will, take parts that resonate to you. All right.
Yeah.
Whether it's this reading or any other reading that we've done or we're going to do in the future. Just saying. And be kind, people.
Mhm.
Okay. We're giving you entertainment and content for free.
Right. It's entertainment purposes only. I mean, I know we all have to say that, but it is entertainment, but a lot of this, I think it's true as well. I really do. A lot of what I get from spirit, and you too.
Yeah, of
I
course.
trust
And
what
it's
you say.
Me too. And a lot of times, because you can listen, we're two different people. We
Mhm.
have very similar abilities with Jamie. But here's the thing: we don't always connect to the same spirit, to the same
Right.
energy. We could be connecting to different ones. And what we're doing is we're bringing forth what we're each getting, and we're starting
Yeah.
to piece the puzzle. That's
Exactly.
how we
That's what
work.
this is. Sure.
That's how it is. That's how, and sometimes Jamie might be connecting to, let's say she might be seeing something about a perpetrator's or someone's unaliver's, let's say, family or past that I don't instantly get. And let's say she shares that, okay, and she's saying, this is what I'm getting. And then suddenly that triggers something in me. And then I'm starting to connect to something regarding what she's saying. So it's like we're building on this. We're building
Yeah,
on
we
this
are.
on a spiritual level and on an energetic level. So I'm just saying, because people get the true crime community is very, very passionate.
I know, but
It
we
is.
psychic mediums, we're not investigative reporters on Dateline or something. I mean, come on. This isn't a
Exactly.
Barbara Walters special.
Even Barbara Walters could be wrong, you know?
Maybe.
You never know. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the thing. So don't shoot the messenger, everybody. Just sit back, grab your snacks, grab a drink, grab a beverage, and just enjoy the show. And
Yeah.
and we'll get right into it right now, because as you all know, we are talking about, or we're not just talking about, but we are going to be connecting to the Amityville horror and
Mhm.
everything that transpired there. A lot of questions around whether the house was indeed haunted, whether all of this activity did indeed
Mhm.
happen. Back
Okay.
in November 13th, 1974,
Mhm.
a young man called Ronald DeFeo Jr.
Mhm.
He unalived his entire family, parents and four siblings, in one night.
Mhm.
He used a pew pew to do that, and then after that, he went to the bar as if nothing happened. Now, and this all happened at this house, and
Mhm.
I believe the address was 112 Ocean Avenue in Amityville.
Mhm.
But from what I remember from a documentary I saw, is that now the most recent owners of the house had to change the address because there were so many people and so many
Right.
tourists
That's like
that were
that's like with the Nicole Brown Simpson in her condo. I
right.
think they changed her address too. So,
Exactly. So now,
yeah.
not fast forward, but a year later, a year after this happened. These
Mhm.
unalivings happened.
Yep.
George and Kathy Lutz
Right.
moved into the house with
December
their
of
3 kids.
Right. It was December of 1975, they moved in.
Exactly.
Yep.
And
Mhm.
they stayed 24 days before they fled the
Oh, wait,
house.
20, I think 28 days, or
What
does it say 24? Because the book says 28
I
days.
meant 28.
No,
Sorry, I
that's
didn't mean
okay,
24.
Natalie. It's
Yeah,
okay.
28.
I just don't want to be dinged in the
You're right.
comments. It was
Oh yeah, you're
28
right.
days, not
28.
24.
Okay. Apologies.
Just kidding.
You never know. You never
I
know. So
know. I know.
28 days. And the reason why they fled their own house in 28 days was because, according to them, there were a lot of very disturbing and very strong and powerful paranormal activities happening in that house.
Mhm.
Jamie, do you want to give people a few examples of some of these paranormal activities?
Yes, I do. First of all, I wanted to say that I have the book, and it's actually a really good read. I actually
I want to
really
read it
like
too.
it. It's the writing's good. It's not boring or dry. I really like it, and it also gives a blueprint of the house, so you can see where things are and
That's so
what
interesting.
the house looked like. It was pretty
Mhm.
cool, and it gives a. I haven't read it all. I really like the book. It's really good. But it's like they had some kids, the Lutzes, and one of the girls would see like red eyes looking into her bedroom window from outside when it's dark. I remember that. And so everybody had experiences
Mm.
with paranormal. Even the father, I think, Mr. Lutz, he had a lot of experiences, and I feel like he, even in the movie, it appeared that something was kind of taking control over him. There was an evil entity in there that kind of took over him. And I don't know what the book says because I haven't gotten to that
Mm.
part, but that's what I've heard, that it kind of changed his personality. It made him act grouchy and mean to the family, and almost like a demonic possession in a
Mm.
way, but he wasn't like possessed like The Exorcist.
Mhm.
I do feel that there is like a demonic presence in this house. I was a paranormal investigator for a lot of years on the East Coast, back in New England and in Gettysburg. So I do believe that there are demons. And my great uncle actually was a priest that did exorcisms. So I do
Mm.
believe in demonic possession. I do think it's real.
Mhm.
And so I do feel that there was something in this house. I do feel that. And what's interesting is in the basement, in the storage area, and you can look like at the blueprints that are in the book. You can get the book on Amazon. And there was a secret room. I think it was like boarded off, that they didn't know it was a secret room. And there was like some weird things in there. It was like a storage area. And I believe that there's portals in this house,
Yes,
and that things come in and out of there. That's what I believe.
that's what I believe too. Mhm.
Yes, and I do believe that these experiences that they had were real. It reminds me, when I was 13, I would babysit at my mom and dad's friend's house for their 2 kids. And there was a spirit in there that was really evil, that did not want me in there. And this reminds me of kind of what happened in the Amityville house. It's almost like they wanted me out of there. And this
Mm.
happened a second time in my life when I dated somebody, and he lived an hour away from me. So I'd spend the weekends at his house, and he was an attorney. He didn't really believe in this sort of thing. And I told him, he lived in this house for 20 years. And I said, there's 7 to 10 entities in here. I said, this place is like really haunted. And it's weird because like the Lutzes could feel it, but then the people that moved in after the Lutzes or the current owners claim, oh, this place isn't haunted. But I do believe that maybe some people just aren't sensitive to it. Like the person that I dated at one time.
Mhm, mhm.
What's interesting is when I pointed it out to him, when I wasn't there, he did notice some paranormal things. Like one time he noticed a painting like the one behind me where it's kind of, I have a big painting behind me.
Mhm.
And this painting was connected to the wall really well. Well, all of a sudden it went off the hook and it started slowly sliding down the wall. And he like couldn't believe it. So, I mean, I think some people just are more sensitive to these things than others. So I think that this place still has energy in it, but I feel like the current people either aren't saying anything or they're just in denial about it, or maybe they're not experiencing it because they're not open to it. I don't know.
Well, what I'm getting, I
Mhm.
agree with you. I totally agree with you about the portals and about the energy of
Yeah.
the house. It has to do with the land, to be honest. I do believe it's not just because
Mhm.
something clicked with Ronald DeFeo as
Yeah,
well.
I agree with
Literally
that.
something clicked, and I believe it had to do with the energy
Yes.
and in the portals and the land and where the house was.
Right.
But here's the thing, why I believe that whatever paranormal, whatever demon or whatever entity was there haunting the Lutzes, I'll tell you what I'm getting.
Uh-huh.
I'm getting it what triggered it is one of the Lutz girls. One of
Oh,
the
okay.
one of
Interesting.
the little girls. I don't know, starts with a D. I'm not sure, but
Okay.
I'm getting
Interesting.
a female name. I'm getting a girl's name, one of the children
Okay.
starting with a D, all right?
Interesting. Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that's interesting. Hold on, because I'm getting two names now. I'm getting like a Dawn. I'm getting the name Dawn, and I'm getting the name Diana.
Oh, interesting.
All
Okay.
right.
Because I know George and Kathy were the parents. George and
George and
Kathy
Kathy, I have
Lutz.
no idea what the kids were
Uh-huh.
called,
Okay.
or Ronald DeFeo's
Siblings.
siblings
Right.
or his
Exactly.
parents. I have no idea. I think,
No,
I
I
mean,
get it.
if Ronald was DeFeo was a junior, then I guess his dad was Ronald DeFeo Senior. I guess. Anyways,
Maybe. I don't, yeah. And then I know that the entity that like the little girl saw, the little Lutz girl and Kathy Lutz saw, and
uh-huh.
George Lutz, I think they named the little girl named her something too. So she had
Oh,
a name. So that could be also something you're picking up on.
maybe.
They
But
had
what
3 children, I think.
they had three children.
Yes.
The Lutzes. The Lutzes had
The
three
Lutzes
children.
did.
But
Yep.
I'm seeing one of the girls is the one that
Mhm.
was not triggering them. It's almost like she was a magnet or a battery, if you will,
Yes. That's what I get.
like a
Right.
sword,
Right.
where
But
these entities would feed off of her and
yeah.
gain the power and the strength to
Yes.
do all these like paranormal activities and the hauntings and
Right.
poltergeist activity in
Yeah.
general that was in that
Right.
house.
Exactly. Yeah. There is
But
a Danny. I think Danny was one of the sons, and
the
then
Lutzes,
Harry was the dog. Yeah, of the Lutzes.
okay, so
Yeah.
that's a cool name.
Mhm.
Do we know what the names Dawn and Diana?
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about Dawn and Diana.
I'm
I
sure
know,
someone in the comments will let us know.
yeah, and then Father Mancuso was the priest that they called in from their church to bless the
Oh,
house, and he had some issues there too. Like I think
yeah, I remember
things
that.
happened, and he didn't want to go back there.
I
So,
remember.
but Danny is one of the names, and then Missy, I think was the one of the ghosts or something. I think there was something that looked like
Oh,
a pig that one of the girls named Missy.
I don't
That's
know.
what I
All
get.
I'm seeing
Her
is
name was Missy.
so they named
The
the
daughter.
ghost Missy.
The daughter named the ghost that looked like a
Missy.
pig
Okay, got it.
Missy,
Got
which is
it. Got it.
interesting. But it could have been a demon shape shifting into a pig too, which is crazy. And I feel like it is a demon because it's interesting that Father Mancuso, the priest they hired to bless the home, the Lutzes, it's interesting. He had all these really crazy things happen to him. I even think the spirit called him and there was some static on the line when, like after he blessed the house. So,
Mhm.
and I've had spirits call me before too, and we had landlines. There's a story about it. I don't want to talk about it now, but it was impossible for a spirit to call me from where I used to babysit. Scared the heck out of me. So
I
I
had the
do feel
same.
like it's possible. Yeah, they
It
can
is
interfere.
100%.
Yeah.
100%
Mhm.
again, because I have my own
Yeah.
Amityville horror story where one of the
Oh.
houses of my yeah,
Oh my
similar
gosh.
similar story because my parents bought this mansion pretty much
Oh my gosh.
cheap because no one would buy it because a woman was unalived in that house. There was a woman who was mentally unstable. She lived there alone. She kept, like, I think she lost so many babies and she lost her mind. And she became a recluse and she lived in this mansion. Anyways,
Mhm.
someone unalived her at the front door as she
Oh
was
my
entering the house.
gosh.
And because of superstition and blah blah blah, people did not, there were whispers. The
Right.
house is haunted. The house has got bad energy because when my parents went to view the house before they bought it, like all of the rooms were painted brown, black, dark green, red.
Ugh.
So it was
Yikes.
there were like pills it was a horror show.
Yeah. Sounds
And
dark.
that's
Mhm.
what happened. So my parents renovated the house and we eventually lived there. And exactly what you said. I remember this was my mom and my stepdad. They went on their honeymoon and I was there with my brother and my baby sister. She was a baby
Aw.
with the nannies. And I remember we were watching a movie and the phone, because they were, long story short, so you had the external line with the landline. So when
Yep.
people called you outside the house, there was a different ringtone to it or a different ring to it. And you also had the intercom, which had a different ring to it. And
Oh.
someone was calling us. Oh my God, I got goosebumps from in the house.
Oh my
The
gosh.
house was super haunted because the that ghost in that house, she hated me because maybe because I'm clairvoyant
Wow.
and she knew I
That's
could see her and I could
crazy.
feel her, and she was haunting me
Mhm.
the whole time we were living there. She was like, I
Hmm.
could hear her walking up and down the stair. I could hear their footsteps.
Oh
She
my
would like,
goodness.
I would like wake up in the middle of the night and I would see her staring at me. Like, look, oh my God, like it's very similar story, not as bad. The haunting was not as bad as Amityville, but yes, ghosts, spirits, entities can totally tamper and use
Yeah. Right,
objects.
because what was weird, I'll just tell everybody. I
Yeah.
babysat at this house, and there was something really terrifying in there, and even the kids would see things. So I babysat when I was 12
Mm.
or 13 for these people. So then when I was like 18, 19, I had my own line in my house, and my
Mhm.
parents' friends, they kinda lost touch, because my mom went to high school with this lady, but then by then, like, they kinda
Yeah,
lost touch. They
grew
weren't
apart.
chumming
Yeah.
around as much, right? And I was like 18, okay? So I had my own phone line in my
Mhm.
room, and they didn't know my phone line. So this house would call my phone line like 100 times, and I would answer, and it would be a recording saying, "Da, da, da, the number you have reached." And it was the number of the place I babysat, and it says it's been disconnected. And I'm like, what? And
Wow.
apparently they moved from that house, but the line was calling me, telling me the number's been disconnected. It's like, and I haven't thought of these people in years.
Wow.
So I know it was the ghost messing around with me. I don't know how you couldn't even do that back then,
And
when there were
I
landlines.
remember, Jamie, that I had a mimic. We even had a mimic in that house because I
Oh,
remember my parents were not at home and I was in the garden playing, minding my own business as a 10-year-old, 11-year-old. I don't remember how old I was. And I literally heard my mom's voice calling for me.
oh,
And I was
geez.
like, she was calling my
That's
name.
crazy.
My
Mhm.
parents I think they were traveling. I think they
Yeah.
were out of the country. Like there was no way. And I was like freaking out. And I looked up in the sky because it literally felt like I was outdoors. I was in the garden and it literally felt like the clouds were
Oh, wow.
calling me using my mom's voice. And I remember
That's
I
so
looked up
weird.
and the shape of the clouds shifted like really, really
Wow.
fast.
I believe that. Oh
Crazy.
my gosh.
So, I totally believe that that
I do
house
too.
was
Yeah,
haunted.
definitely.
I do believe that there are people who can, again, they are more of a source or an energy
Mhm.
source for entities, or they can trigger something, as
Yeah.
soon as they move
Yeah.
in.
I
And
think
this,
they pick on the people that are more sensitive. I didn't mean to interrupt.
yeah,
Like
I
like
believe that.
the woman of where I babysat, she didn't believe in any of this stuff. So they didn't pick on her, but they always picked on me and my brother because my brother is intuitive
Mm,
too.
mm,
They did pick on the dad because he had this too, even though he was like a biology teacher, so he's more scientific. But when I was in there, like things would happen and there's no one was there, like doorknobs turning by themselves, and it was crazy. I do believe the Lutzes had this experience.
I
I don't,
do.
because the media was saying, well, they just lied about it to get attention. I don't really believe that. I think that this was really true.
I believe it was true as
Mhm.
well. And
Yeah.
you know what? I think they were traumatized. Why would,
Yeah.
I mean, you cannot act or pretend
Mhm.
or put on a show of being traumatized about something that didn't happen. I believe that these
Right.
people really experienced
Yes.
these horrible things. They were traumatized, like literally. And I believe, if I remember from, was it the documentary? Because the most recent thing that I saw, this was years ago, regarding the Amityville horror, was a documentary on the demonologists Ed and Lorraine Warren, because
Mhm.
they the Lutzes, they were desperate. They called for Ed and Lorraine to come over and help them out. And speaking of, sorry, I'm just going from one thing to the other, but speaking of, and I'm going to come out and say it in
That's
public,
okay. That's okay.
I am not the biggest fan of the Warrens.
Me either. As a matter of fact, when I was paranormal investigating back east, Lorraine was still alive. Ed had passed away,
Mm,
but there were people in my group that knew her.
mm-hmm.
And I could have met her, but it didn't, like, the timing didn't work out. And then by that time she passed away. But yeah, I am a little skeptical of them. I do
Yeah.
feel like Lorraine was clairvoyant, but I
Mm-hmm.
almost feel like there's something sketchy about Ed, or maybe her too. I'm not sure.
I think on some level they were both clairvoyant or intuitive or
Mhm.
psychic,
I
but
don't think he was. I don't mean to interrupt.
I don't think he was. I really, well, I don't know. Maybe he was a little bit, but he
I
hasn't, he hadn't
Right,
sort of like sharpened, let's say, his
right.
abilities. But I completely believe that there was, sorry for saying this, they were scam artists.
That's what
Like,
I feel,
they were
and
feeding off of
mhm,
people's fear, and
that's what I
especially
feel.
back
Yeah.
then.
I think
And
he
in
was more than Lorraine, though.
I agree.
Mhm.
And also they were very, very religious. They came from a very religious background,
Oh,
you
I
know.
didn't know that. Okay.
Yes, Ed
Yeah.
was. Like, if you look at
Mhm.
his background way before they became famous or demonologists. But here's the
Uh-huh.
thing, I believe because they knew what the people of faith were like, or people who were very, very Christian or very much
Right.
believed in God or the Bible. So I really believe that what they did was, like, they really fed them this fear,
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's
right?
probably true. Yeah.
In order for them
Mm.
to sensationalize.
Right. I think they embellish things to be
Yeah.
famous,
Yeah,
and I'll
unfortunately.
be honest, John Zaffis, he's
Mhm,
been on TV and he's in the paranormal field. I think he had a show on one of the channels. I don't think so anymore, but when I
mm,
lived near Gettysburg out back east, I met John twice. I don't like to talk bad about people, but one of my abilities, I do have all the clears, but one of them, I can really read people really well.
yeah,
I have a really good thing about knowing what people think about me, reading people. And I met him on 2 different occasions, and he's not a nice person.
mm.
At
I
least
didn't
that's
think
what I
so.
felt. I didn't think he was nice, and I feel like they just wanna be famous.
Yeah. I agree.
Mhm.
I agree.
Yeah.
Just like what sorry you guys, but just like I
Mhm.
mean, I'm not why am I apologizing? But there are some fans out there of the ghost adventures of Zach Bagans. Please.
Right. Yeah, I met him
Yeah.
too, actually. I met him a couple times. He's extremely arrogant and
Yep.
annoying.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep. Yep.
I
He's
know.
a narcissist.
Yeah, don't get mad at me. He's really good looking, but he is not nice. But I also feel like the producers of that show probably really pushed him to do all this sensationalism and stuff. But he went along with it. But it's all about the fame and the money, you know what I mean, for these people. But I
I
also don't believe that that Raggedy Ann doll Annabelle is real.
I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna say you just took it right out of my mouth. I was just about to
Right.
say that.
Right.
Mhm.
And I'll be
Agree.
honest, me and my friend Paul, he was in the paranormal group. We went to the Conjuring house and we didn't feel anything there in Rhode Island.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I didn't really feel anything.
Interesting.
He really didn't feel anything, so
Huh. See?
I don't know.
You guys don't believe everything that's out there. Don't believe
Yeah.
it all,
Right.
use discernment when
Mhm.
it comes to
Mhm.
paranormal and stuff. See, for instance,
Yeah. But the stuff that we investigated when I was back east, I mean, I really experienced paranormal stuff and I have things on tape and stuff that I recorded
which
voices
one
and
was
stuff.
the most haunted one? Like which one was the most memorable, scary,
The
haunted place for
Grafton
you?
Inn in Massachusetts, it's called the Grafton Inn. It
Mm,
wasn't a mean ghost. There is a little girl in there and she would make the flashlight go on and off. We did the
mm,
flashlight test with the Maglite flashlight where you kind of unscrew the top and you ask the ghost to turn it on
mhm.
and off. And we were having a 20-minute conversation with her and she was manipulating the flashlight. There's no way, I have it on tape. There's no way anybody could have done this. I was like sitting there watching it with my own eyes and I just couldn't believe it. So
Wow.
the Grafton Inn in Massachusetts is very haunted. Gettysburg is, if anybody out there goes to Gettysburg, you're in for a treat. It's so it's so haunted there. I mean,
Wow. It must
seriously,
be.
yeah.
There's so
There
much
was
history
yeah.
there as well.
Yeah, there was on my podcast, the guy's last name is Nisbet. I can't remember his first name.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's Gary or whatever. He's a really nice guy, and he's in Gettysburg. So if you guys ever go to Gettysburg, check out my podcast if you feel like it. And his last name is Nisbet. It begins with an N, but it's my podcast on Gettysburg. And if you ever go to Gettysburg, try to connect with him because he actually knows a lot of history and he believes in the
Mm.
paranormal and he's experienced it. He's written a bunch of books and stuff. So, I mean, if you want to experience paranormal, go to Gettysburg. That was really haunted. And then
Wow.
we investigated some private residences where the lights were
Mhm.
going on and off um and
Mhm.
I was terrified, but I had to act like I wasn't because I was the only female in the group, so I didn't want to act like somebody from Scooby Doo where they're running around like Shaggy and Scooby, you know. I really had to, compose myself and stuff. But you always want to channel Archangel Michael before you go on somewhere like this and after and say,
Yeah.
just detach from spirits,
Right.
detach from me, don't follow me home. So that's what we had to do. But yeah, I do believe the Amityville horror house was haunted. And I'll tell you, I believe there's a demon in there, and I do believe there's a portal, and I do believe a demon did this to Ronnie DeFeo. But I do believe that Ronnie DeFeo was mentally ill. I do feel that. And I
Yes,
feel like a lot of these demons, they'll prey on people that are vulnerable.
exactly.
That's what I
Exactly.
feel. And I don't sense that he was schizophrenic totally and just did this. I feel like he may have been kind of off. You know what I mean? Something may have been wrong with him. I don't want to diagnose him. He may have
True.
had some issues, but I feel like the demon preyed off that. They
I
prey on
agree.
lower vibrations. Yeah, sorry.
I 100% agree with you.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I mean, low vibing entities completely
Yeah,
they attach to people who are very vulnerable and
right,
mentally they're not all
right.
there.
And I feel like, well, I feel like Ronnie too felt like an outcast. And I feel like he kind of felt he didn't fit in anywhere. This is what I'm channeling intuitively.
Yeah.
And I feel like this demon kind of preyed on him. And then I feel like the demon possessed him and told him to kill his family.
That's
That's what I
exactly
feel.
what I was getting. And I'm going to
Yeah.
add to what you're saying, because I'm also channeling that, because he was different and he felt that he was
Mhm.
different, and like, let's say the wires weren't exactly connected in his
Right.
brain. I am
Mhm.
also seeing that he experimented with drugs, and drugs really made things worse for him, but that was for him to try to control it or manage it, or even like try to, sort of self-medicate himself in a sense.
Mhm.
And I do believe that
Yeah.
all of that, take the mental health
Mhm.
aspect, take the
Yeah.
substances, take the entities, and generally the portals and the energy in there. He was completely the perfect target
Yes.
for demons and low vibrational entities.
I agree. And the
And
other
that's
thing
what
is
happened.
right, because I saw an interview with Ronnie DeFeo when he was in
Mhm,
prison. Somebody went in there. Ronnie died, I think, of cancer years ago.
mhm.
But he said, "Well, no one told me to do this. I just killed him. That was it." I don't believe it. I believe that a demon possessed him. And
Same,
I feel when you're
same.
possessed by a demon that you get disconnected from your body and they
Yes,
take over. That's what I feel. Just being like growing up
yeah.
Catholic and stuff and being exposed to all this stuff. And like I said, I had a great uncle that did exorcisms. So I mean, it's just so bizarre. I mean,
It is. It is. But
yeah.
you're right. There is a disassociation there, because
Hmm.
before we came on and I was, prepping for this, like connecting and meditating and getting into the zone for this
Yeah.
video. What I was getting, aside from the little girl that I mentioned earlier, was this disassociation. So I felt like Ronald was completely disassociated at times from his body, and
Hmm.
especially during the unalivings. During
Yes,
the
I feel
he
that too.
wasn't there. That's why
That's what I feel.
he doesn't remember what he did. And then
Yeah,
I want to
that's
add
what I
this
get.
before I forget, because I wanted
Hmm.
to mention it earlier. Is I was also feeling, so we know that he used pews to unalive. We're
Okay.
talking about Ronald
Yeah.
DeFeo, to unalive his family, 6 members of his family, so
Yeah.
the rest of his family pretty much. But here's the thing: I was feeling,
Hmm.
I believe one bullet. I believe this was. I believe this is the older sister, but I cannot be sure. But it's a female. So one of the bullets went straight through the heart, was one. The
Wow.
other one, I feel suffocation. So I'm not sure if he like put a pillow over their face before he pewed, or
Maybe.
he pewed them and shot them at, where the lungs are, and then
Oh
things filled up
gosh.
because I couldn't breathe. So I felt
Yeah.
like, like that feeling. And I was also getting that two of the siblings of Ronald, they were, for some reason, he unalived them last.
Oh,
I
interesting.
don't know.
I don't know
This is
about
what I
that. I
got.
know he had an or maybe he didn't have an older sister. He had a sister that was a teenager. I do remember that.
I wouldn't
I
know.
forget her name. Yeah, but I mean, I feel like he wasn't in his right mind when he killed these
No.
people. I feel like he was ordered to kill them from a demon.
You know what I'm getting also? I'm going back to the Lutzes now, the family
Mhm.
that moved in there
Yeah,
after the unaliving. So
right.
the
George and
daughter that I
Kathy.
keep seeing, the Lutz girl that I keep
Yeah,
seeing,
and I'm trying to find her name in this book and I can't. I'm sorry.
really?
It's like I
Oh,
see
I
Danny
need
and
to Google.
Chris, but I'm for some reason I'm not seeing the daughter. I can't remember her name. But
I
you
guess
could also be picking up the daughters in the DeFeo family
could
too
be,
if you're
could
getting a
be,
D,
could
you
be that I'm
know.
picking up the two
Yeah.
names, that Dawn and Diana, could also be
Uh-huh.
the girls from the DeFeo family.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Like, you know, they have in this, it's interesting in this book, like I said, they have the
Mhm.
blueprints, and there is a secret room. They found a secret room. There's
Interesting.
the stairs to the basement, and then there's like a closet above, and then there's a secret room that they found
Wow.
in the closet. So, I mean, who knows if he was doing like some kind of weird rituals
Maybe
there, or yeah.
magic, black magic, or ritual.
So,
Yeah.
but I can't find the girl's name. Or Missy was the pig that they named. The pig was,
Missy was a pig,
she
but
was
who
a
was
pig that
Dawn?
was a ghost.
Diana. Mm.
Yeah, but I don't remember the girl's name. But maybe
I'm
in the
sure
comments
the
you guys can.
comments will let us know.
Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
But
they will,
that's
and
okay.
please do, and please
Mhm.
do. It's interesting with them, but I do feel that the girl, the one of the Lutz girls, is the one that brought this. It sort of like it brought on this energy, this force. It's almost like
Mhm.
she opened, unbeknownst to her, she opened all the portals all
Yeah,
at once.
yeah. Uh-huh. I'm
That's
getting the
how I
number 8,
perceive
so I don't know if she was 8 years old. That's possible, but I'm getting the number 8 around this
it.
girl.
Possibly.
I do feel like she attracted things and opened the portals. I do feel that they could have used her to do something, but I know she was only 8. But I also feel that they were trying to use George to do things. Like I feel like they were trying to
Mm.
get George to do the same thing, but for some reason they got out of there before that happened.
Oh, you think that so you're
I
saying they try to get George to unalive his family, just like
Yeah, I think they were getting to the point where they were trying to break George down and drive him kind of crazy and mad to the point where he felt like he wanted to do that, that they were putting the demons were putting that into his head. But I feel like they left before it got to that point. I think Kathy, because of what Ronnie did, I think Kathy was aware of it and she was open to it, and just sort of got everybody out of the house
can I
before it was too late.
I
Yeah.
want to ask you this because I don't know, because you remember more about the story than I do.
Yeah.
Did one of the Lutz kids try to self-delete themselves? Because this is
I
what
don't think
I
so,
picked
but
up.
maybe. You never know. This was back in the 70s. So back in
True.
the 70s, no one really, like, I mean, autism wasn't even really a thing back then, even though
True.
maybe people were diagnosed with it. But back in the 70s, things were just so different than they are now. And they were
That's
there in the
so
70s.
true.
So it's possible they did try to do that. Maybe they didn't say anything, because back then it's like a lot of times I notice people, they try to hide things, because my grandfather was in the invasion of Normandy in World War II, and he had
Wow.
PTSD. And
Hmm.
we just had the anniversary of the invasion of Normandy. I think it was on June 6th. And he had PTSD, but he never got help for it because, he was a man, he was supposed to be strong. But my grandpa wasn't misogynistic, but it's like, they didn't go there back then. You know what I mean? They didn't, like, you couldn't say I have PTSD, and he didn't get help for anything. He had to hold all this inside his whole life,
Incredible.
which is horrible. So I think back then they really tried to kind of hide stuff.
Yeah, you're right.
It
You're
wasn't
absolutely right.
accepted. It
That's
wasn't accepted. If you were to say in the 70s, I have anxiety and PTSD, they'd probably put you in a mental institution. I
I
don't
remember
know.
my
Yeah.
grandma when I was a child, when someone in the family got cancer, we're
Oh,
not supposed to say it. You
right.
know,
Exactly.
they wouldn't
I
even talk
know.
about cancer
Right.
because people thought that cancer, like if you're near a cancer
Right.
patient or someone had
Yeah.
cancer, you would get it too.
Right. I remember, like, there's a movie, St. Elmo's Fire, and I love Rob Lowe. So Rob Lowe's in
I
St.
love
Elmo's
Rob
Fire.
Lowe.
He's like my hunk celebrity
Yeah.
crush. But like, I remember, like, he went to this girl's house for dinner, and the mother said, did you hear about Sandy down the street? She's got cancer. So they wouldn't even say the word.
I'm
This was
telling
in
you,
1985. It's like,
I know. They wouldn't talk about it. They would say the C word.
I
She's got
know.
the C word. She's got the C.
I
Don't
know,
tell
right?
anyone. Like,
Yeah, so
so you're right. You're right.
jeez. I
They
mean,
wouldn't talk
nowadays,
about these
my daughter
things.
has autism. It's okay to say, my daughter's on the
Of course.
spectrum. She's high functioning autistic,
Of course, it's okay
Back
to say
then, you
it.
couldn't say anything.
I know, different times,
I
different
know,
times.
right?
But
So I think that she did. One of the kids did try to do that, and it wasn't talked about. That's what I feel.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
probably. But
Yeah.
that's just came through. So, and I was like taken aback when I saw it. But yeah, you're right. It could probably not documented or
Yeah.
reported because it was something that he had to keep on the down low, along
Right.
with his illnesses. Back in the day, and not long ago, actually, like even disabled kids, they would
Yeah.
just like tuck them away in a room. If you were
Right.
rich, you would take them to an
Right.
institution, lock
Well,
them away
yeah,
in
like the Kennedys did. They did that
the
to
Kennedys.
Rosemary. They gave her a lobotomy. She was probably autistic or something. They gave her a lobotomy and she was like, for the rest of her life, she was pretty much a vegetable in an institution. That's horrible.
Horrible,
And they used to do
horrible.
shock therapy on these people.
I
I mean, I
know.
have a PhD in psychology, so I studied this at Michigan State. It's like the way they treated these people it was so inhumane back then. If you said you were crazy, you had to have these nodes on your head and they'd shock you. It's like, oh my gosh, or they'd put you in a mental institution.
And they did that not only to
Mhm.
like mental health patients, because
Right.
my grandfather was a surgeon. And
Oh.
so I've heard a lot of stories. I never met him because he passed unfortunately when my mom was like 14 years old. But
Aw.
I've heard
Yeah.
all the stories and from my grandma. And I can tell you, even back then with diabetes, they didn't know, they couldn't understand what it was, and they would do lobotomies because they thought it was connected to the
Oh
to the
my
brain.
gosh. Wow,
My
that's
grandmother told
crazy.
me. My grandfather,
Yeah.
though, because he was very well, like he was always keeping up, like with the medical stuff, like he was a nerd. And
Yeah.
even back in the 60s, 70s, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and he had diabetes like all he started getting
Oh,
all, even though he's a surgeon and not like a GP or anything like that, or
right.
a chronologist, he would get all these patients coming to him because he understood about insulin and needing insulin and how to get it and all of
Oh,
it. Because back
interesting.
then in the 60s, especially 50s, 60s, they didn't understand diabetes like they do now.
No, and they didn't have
No,
the technology that they
they
do now. I
didn't.
mean, even like with pregnancies, I know one of my cousins, they're a lot older than me, but she was born in 1965 and she was a twin, and it's like they didn't even like they thought my aunt just had one kid because they didn't do any x-rays or ultrasounds and there was
Mm.
another baby in there. And she's like, oh my gosh. You know?
With a stethoscope, oh, I hear a heartbeat. Oh, I
Yeah,
hear another
here
heartbeat.
comes another one. Oh, really? Oh my.
They didn't know the sex of the babies back then. It was like,
Yeah.
surprise, no gender reveals back
Yeah,
then.
right? Oh my gosh. Well, back
Oh
then
my,
I thought the stork just brought these kids in. You know?
you know what? I
I
thought
had
that
no
too
idea.
because I loved Dumbo.
Oh,
Dumbo
I love Dumbo too from
when I was a
Disney.
kid. So I
Mhm.
always thought that the stork literally brought the babies in.
So did I. I actually thought that till I was 12, and then my friends at school told me the real story, and I came home and said to my parents, "You guys did that and this bad."
That was me with Santa
I was
Claus.
so mad at them.
That was me with Santa Claus because I
Yeah.
heard something and I
Well,
thought, Santa Claus is here. So I was at the top of the stairs, like peeking. It was my parents putting all the gifts under the tree. So I
oh my
threw
gosh.
a tantrum. I'm like, you were liars. I will never believe anything you tell me. There's no Santa. They were like,
Oh my gosh.
oh, they were like, we're just helping him. He couldn't carry all the stuff. I'm like, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Right,
yeah, it's over.
exactly.
It's done.
Yeah.
The dream, the
I
fairy
know,
tale is over.
right? I know. It's disappointing. Well, I thought a heart looked like a heart. And
Right.
then I was like, the heart really looks like that. I think it was 10 or 12. I'm like, oh my gosh. I thought it looked like just a heart, like an emoji heart.
Back then, you guys, there were more romantic
Yeah.
times. We were a lot
Right.
more naive back
I
then.
know we were.
We didn't have TikTok or YouTube to ruin the
I
dream for us.
know, right? Exactly. But I mean, I think there was more going on with these kids, the
Yeah.
DeFeos, and or those maybe with Ronnie more, there was things going on with him, but then I feel like he was possessed by it. I think there was a demon in that house, and I think there was a portal.
Same.
In that,
And more than one, actually, more than one.
Yeah.
More than
I
one.
agree.
That's what I see. Also, you know what's interesting? You said Ronald DeFeo passed a few years ago, right? He passed, right?
Of cancer. Yeah,
Of
I think it was
cancer.
cancer. Yeah.
Isn't it interesting that all these serial killers and all these bad people and criminals die in prison from cancer? Don't you find that
Yeah, isn't that interesting? Maybe they put something in the food.
I don't know, or maybe
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh.
their low vibrational energy
that's
beating
true.
them up, you know, it's like
Yeah, that's
gangrene.
true.
It's
Oh
like
my
gangrene.
gosh.
You can't do, you know, if you're going to do evil acts and if you're going to be a criminal, you're going to pay for it one way or another. Even if you don't get caught, you're going to pay for it one way or another.
Yeah, I
Karma,
agree.
cancer, you know,
Yeah.
there are multiple ways that you're going to pay for it. Just saying.
I agree. No, I agree with you.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if you have anything else to add. Sorry for like rushing.
I think this could have been worse with the Lutzes. I think George.
Yes.
I think there was a demon in the house that it was the same demon that instructed Ronnie DeFeo to kill his mother and father and his siblings. And I believe that same demon came through a portal and it attacked George Lutz because I feel like George was vulnerable. I feel like, they only paid $8,000 for that home on Ocean Avenue, the Amityville horror house. So they really got it for a steal. But I do feel like they had a lot of financial issues. And I think George drank a little bit and stuff from what I remember reading. And I feel like George was vulnerable. So I feel like they were trying to do the same thing to George, but it could have ended up like what Ronnie did. I do feel, but they got out of there. They left all their stuff behind too. They just left the house. And I think they moved out to California.
Oh, I didn't know that. Did they?
I think that they did. Yeah. But I really don't feel that this was a lie. I don't sense that they made as much money off this if they could today. Like today, I feel like they couldn't. If this was
I think
today,
they didn't make any money though.
I don't think so either.
I don't think they got the rights for the books and stuff.
Right.
Other people got the rights for the books and the movies and all of that. I don't think they got. And
I don't either.
My feeling is they probably changed their name. They want anonymity, and that's what I would want.
Right. Sure. And I feel like the people that live in that house now, they're probably just avoiding what's going on there. That's what I feel. I think that there still is something there. Yeah.
I think if you and I went, we would certainly pick things up and feel things, and maybe even
I definitely feel that.
Trigger things, but I know they don't do paranormal tours or anything like that.
No, they don't. I think there's the people that live there, they probably just want to be left alone, which I understand.
100%.
But I don't know. I think that there was something in there, and there still is. Like I said, I think there's a bunch of portals in there, and that's what's interesting. It's right on the water too, and the water brings a lot of paranormal stuff. Or if you're born by the water, it makes you intuitive. Like I was born in Michigan surrounded by the Great Lakes, and maybe that's why I was more intuitive. Who the heck knows?
Were you born at night or in the morning?
At night, 7:05 p.m.
Same, honey. I was born at night on an island. Mauritius is an island surrounded by water. My mom could see the sea from her hospital window. Interesting. Were you? Yeah. Was your birth natural as well?
Yes. My mom was putting makeup on after she had me, and everybody's like, "Okay." She just took some time out to have a baby, and then it was back to trying to look glamorous.
Back to business. I love it.
But what's interesting is like on my phone, I keep seeing 7:05 every time I look at my phone, and that was the time I was born. Really weird.
Something big is coming for you.
Really? I hope so. I need
you keep seeing your birth number.
I need a miracle.
It's coming. It's coming.
Thank you.
No, and September,
Yeah.
October, something's coming.
Oh,
Big
wow.
thing.
That's cool. I was just going to say, I met my boyfriend on his lunch break today, and I said to him, he goes, well, what are you doing this show on? I said, the Amityville Horror. And he's older. He's a little older, or, you know what I mean? He's
Mhm.
older, so he would know about this. You know, he
Mhm.
was born in the 70s. So he's like, well, I never heard of that. It's like, really?
He hadn't heard of it?
Like, you don't know what I'm going to show him this book. Don't you remember the Amityville Horror? You were born in 1977. Come on.
Yeah, he's an expert. He
Yeah.
definitely know about
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Oh,
So,
interesting. Well, get him to read that book once you're done with
yeah,
it.
you're right. Exactly.
Once you're done with it.
But
Oh,
yeah, but if you guys get a chance, I'm not trying to sell my podcast, but I do have an
I
episode on
will.
the Amityville Horror. And then this book is really good. Whoever wrote this, it looks like his name's Jay Anson.
Mhm.
It's really good. It's a really good book, and it's not dry. It's like, it's interesting.
I will link
I really
everything
like
down
it.
below for everyone. I will
Yeah.
link. I
Yeah.
mean, your podcast, everyone will find the description, how to
appreciate
find
that.
Jamie, her website,
Yeah.
her podcast,
Aw,
everything's will be in the
thanks.
description.
I mean, I'm not
And
trying to like
you
promote
should
myself.
plug your podcast.
Okay.
100%. We
Thanks.
need to grow Jamie's
And I'm
podcast, everybody.
gonna make more episodes. The last 6 months for me have, you know what's going on with me. It's been cray.
Mhm.
Now I feel a little better. It's not crazy in a bad way, but I've just had a lot of stuff going on. Now it's back to the old drawing board, back, to get things done. So
Exactly.
yeah, with
Just
my
you need to
podcast.
regroup yourself and then get
Yeah.
going.
Yeah,
and
but I
get-
also want to restructure my podcast too, because I was having a lot of coaches on there and people that wanted to sell their stuff. I want it to be fun. I want it to be like ghost stories, intrigue,
Ooh.
not well, I'm a coach, I'm going to help you with all this, which I'm not downplaying that. I think it's
Mhm.
great, but I want to go in a different direction to make
Well,
it more exciting.
if you're gonna do ghost stories one day, I would love to
Yeah.
come on because I have a lot of
yeah.
paranormal stories to share
Oh,
as
wow. I would
well.
love that. That would be
Come on.
awesome. Yes,
That would be
please. Please come on. Thank
I would
you.
love to. Thank
That
you.
would
No,
be
I would love
great.
to because I have so many, just like you, like, when you're
Yeah.
clairvoyant and you're a
Yeah.
medium and you work with spirit and you as a paranormal investigator as well. So
Yeah.
the stories, like we could write books.
Yeah,
The
sure.
stories of the paranormal stuff and the ghosts.
Yeah. Right. Because I think they follow us too. I remember I was in
Yeah.
Barnes and Noble. I think people can just tell when we're intuitive, because I had a reading with one lady yesterday, and it was so weird because I have these cards, and I'll get back to the Barnes and Noble thing in a second, but I have these cards, and I said, I was reading this girl, and I said, I feel like you're psychic. And she
Mhm.
says, I am. And I pulled one of these cards for her,
Mhm.
and it said third eye chakra.
There you
So it's
go.
basically telling her to open her third eye chakra, which I think is interesting. And then when I was in Barnes and Noble a long time ago, I had this woman come up to me, and she was psychic, and she goes, you're psychic too. And she was giving me all these predictions for free. It was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. But is it okay if I pull a card for the group? This is the
Of course.
John Holland Psychic Tarot Heart Deck.
I
I
know
wonder if I could.
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
Appreciate everybody tuning in, but I'm going to pull a card and just give like a message for everybody. Just take it how it
Me too.
resonates, and it's just a message for the people watching and how it fits into your life. So let's see, what message, Spirit, do you have for the viewers? Interesting. Release.
There you go. Wow.
So release what no longer serves you and move forward.
I'm also getting the message release fear.
Oh, interesting.
And right now in California, where you guys are, and in the US, you need to
Yeah.
release fear.
I
You need to
know.
release fear.
Yeah, I agree.
You just need to just release that fear. Don't let fear conquer you.
Yeah.
Find your power from within and just, just
Right.
follow what you believe in, people.
Yeah.
Now, regardless of
exactly.
politics, this has nothing to do with
Right. Well, it's about loving each other. Love is the highest vibration. And when there's hate and fear, that's not good. I don't care what side of the ball you're on, or
Agree.
if you're Democrat or Republican. I don't care. We need to love each other. And I had a friend, he actually ended up passing away, but before he passed away, he was on my podcast too. It was a near-death experience. And he told me that when he passed away and came back, he said, God is really mad about what's going on down here. He does not like what's happening. So, I mean, we need to, like, I think if we all just vibrated in love, that, you know, maybe egg prices would come down. I just feel like a lot of stuff, it's like the fear of the hate is making things even worse.
I know. It does. It does. It does. It's because we are one. It's the law of oneness. So when there's chaos in one corner of the earth, it affects everyone else.
It does.
The rest of the world. It's a collective energy.
There's no
Everything's
reason.
connected.
Right. There's no reason why we hate each other. You know what I mean? Or there's hate.
Exactly. There's no reason, but unfortunately, human nature comes with ego, greed,
I know.
It comes in with all these low vibrational feelings and emotions and behaviors. And those are the ones, though, that make us, well, how humans see it is that these low vibrational emotions and feelings are what can make you successful, respected, loved, seen, all of it. No. It's your ego. You're allowing for your ego to take over your life, and everything else is falling apart, and you can't see it because your eyes on the prize. What
exactly.
is the prize for you? Is the prize love? If the prize is love, you're going to be happy in your life. You're going to start manifesting and attracting beautiful things in your life. But if the prize is money, success, greed, power over people, whatever, cars, material stuff, well, you'll continue vibrating in that lower frequency, and you're going to be miserable. You're going to be miserable in life.
I agree. Yeah.
It is as it is, I mean, we all like beautiful things. Okay. We all love them. But the emphasis, or let's say, because our emphasis is on the beautiful things. I want to have this. I want to look like this. I want to buy, these jeans, or I want to buy this bag. I want to buy this car. It's all about I want. But what are you giving back to the collective?
Right, exactly.
You're only asking for the collective to give you, or the universe to give you, but what are you giving back?
Right, exactly. I agree.
That's how I see it.
Yeah, me
Anyways,
too.
everybody, unfortunately, we have to go. I have to go because I have to go pick up my daughter.
We were supposed to go a long time ago. Sorry.
I know. I have my phone here.
Sorry.
And
Okay.
It's okay.
I'll let you go. But thank you, Natalie. I really appreciate you having me on your show again.
Thank you. And Jamie and I, we're going to meet up very soon.
Yeah.
The next video, do let us know down below in the comments which ones you want to do. We have several. We have Marilyn Monroe that we spoke about last time. We have several different readings that we want to do, channeling sessions, but please let us know which one should be the next one, and we will do it, because Jamie and I were going to be doing this a lot, and I love it.
I know. I just heard Brittany Murphy. Maybe we could do her sometime, channel her, and it's a mystery what happened to her.
I did one 3 years ago. I don't remember much.
Yeah.
I remember that it wasn't pneumonia.
But now some things are coming out with her and Diddy that she was involved in, or like he did something to her. I don't know.
I need to go back.
That's a rumor.
Yeah. I need to go back and watch that, because I don't remember what came through. That was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But anyways, yes, we'll definitely. Jamie and I will talk as well. We'll also wait for your suggestions, and then Jamie and I will decide which one we're going to do next.
Yeah, and then Natalie, you'll be on my podcast, like maybe.
I can't wait. I love talking about.
Yeah, to talk about ghost stories.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. But everybody, go follow Jamie. Okay, everything's down below in the description box. Come on, you guys, let's support Jamie, because now she's going back in track. We need to help her grow her channel, grow her podcast, because she's done so much work on it. And as you all know, it's not easy. It's not easy to grow your podcast or your channel whatsoever. But that's why we're here, because we are a nice, beautiful, supportive community here. That's what we do best.
I love you guys. Thanks for
Love you
tuning
guys.
in.
Thanks for watching. Till next time.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.